Hello and welcome back. I'd like to introduce all of you to Phyllis Curo and her husband Bruce. She is with us tonight through the miracle of high technology since she just completed an incredible 20-city and European tour promoting this book, which I looked like crazy for and couldn't find before this program. I am so disappointed because I wanted to read it. I like to read it
I will
first.
yell at the publisher.
Please do.
But it is available on Amazon.com. The ever-reliable Amazon.com. Delivers in 24 hours at a nice discount.
That's great. That's excellent. Yeah. Now, what I will remind all of you, if you didn't hear me trying to babble through this at the beginning of the show, Phyllis is a New York attorney and a Wiccan priestess. She has been for 20 years. She's also the author of Book of Shadows, highly praised by Deepak Chopra, Z Budapest, Margot Adler, and the LA Times, and quite a few other newspapers, I hear. It's in its 4th printing. It's only been out 4 months. So it's an excellent, excellent book. She's just been honored by Jane Magazine as one of the 10 gutsiest women of 1998, and boy, you are. You really, really are. Along with Hillary Clinton, who's also a very gutsy lady.
Indeed she is.
You are the President Emerita of Covenant of the Goddess, COG, for those of you who may be more familiar with the acronym. And you represented the Wiccan community at the Parliament of the World's Religions and United Nations Conference on the Status of Women. We are so lucky to have you. Oh my God, this is awesome.
I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be here.
What I'm going to tell you is that one of the reasons that Frank and I really wanted to have you on the show was because we were so incredibly impressed with your appearance on a national television show called The View, which is on in the mornings on a very mega primetime channel. And you did a ritual with 2 other women, a beautiful ritual for Samhain.
Thank you.
That asked for peace and harmony and all kinds of other wonderful things.
And
tolerance.
Yeah.
And tolerance became a little bit of a issue at that point. I know that I emailed The View, and I know you told us that you had also emailed. Can you email The View? Can you tell us a little bit about what had happened?
Well, I had left the set. So I didn't know until much later. I left the set and then was literally sort of whisked into a car, and then, the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and didn't find out until at least, I think, 24 hours later, when we finally got home, that after we had left, after doing this very simple, and thank you for saying,
beautiful.
It was
beautiful
a very
ritual.
simple, we lit candles and just talked about peace and summoned the goddess into the world. And Star Jones came out, who is a self-proclaimed fundamentalist, born-again Christian, and said that she's also a lawyer, so she was careful about how she phrased it. If she'd stepped just a little more over that line, she would have been looking at a lawsuit. But she talked about how what she had just witnessed, and she was going like this, the body language, reminded her of demonology, and was very upsetting to her. And what else did she say? A couple of other very dark. She compared us to demonologists and Satanists and that sort of thing. And then proceeded to interview a young man who does prophesying along the lines of Nostradamus, which, as far as I understand, is contrary to fundamentalist beliefs.
But hey,
And the wonderful thing is that the entire Wiccan community immediately responded, that there was a tremendous outpouring of email to her. And I gather that she gave a rather inappropriate response, which is sad, because this is a black woman, who's an attorney who should know better.
Absolutely.
If nothing else, she should know about prejudice, and she should be sensitive and a little more aware. And if not, then at least a little more judicious or cautious in what she says.
We're on the verge of the millennium.
We sure are.
Tolerance should be a given, at least in our book. It is. That's one of the things that we've tried very, very hard to do with Craftwise, is promote tolerance through learning about other people's religions, learning about what other people do and how other people perceive their spirituality and follow their spiritual path. So you would hope that someone who is as intelligent,
one would think, one would think,
would appreciate.
But old prejudices die hard, and even amongst people who we would like to think, would know better. And that's one reason I wrote this book, and that's one reason that I did the tour, and that's one reason I got back from Europe, where I was doing the same thing. I was in Holland and in Belgium and in England, where people are not as able as we have been in this country to be public. They don't have libel laws to protect themselves with, which is one of my favorite things about the American system. If somebody calls you a Satanist, you can just send them a little letter informing them that if they ever do it again, you're going to slap them with a libel or a slander suit, which I make very clear. But unfortunately, in Belgium, they can't do that. And so it was very important to have somebody there explaining that this has nothing to do with Satanism, how that historical distortion arose 500 years ago, its relationship to the suppression of the rights of women, which is an important point that I try to make. And that's what I've been trying to do. 10 years ago, I went public and had already been an advocate as a lawyer, fighting for the rights of Wiccans in various situations. Won the right for them to perform legally binding marriages in New York and to perform public rituals in Chicago. And then I realized that the court of public opinion was where this battle most needed to be fought, because people still had these terrible stereotypes. That's changing. We were talking about that before.
Yes, it is.
How rapidly that's changing. It's changing in the media. And certainly, as I went around the country, we are everywhere.
Yes, we are.
I was in mainstream bookstores,
yeah.
Hundreds of people in the audience. There were always people there who practice. And I mean, we were down in the South, and I said, you don't have to, but if you're comfortable, you know, would you indicate if you're practicing? And there were always people who stood up or raised their hands and were willing to talk to people afterwards. But interestingly enough, the vast majority of folks were people who were just interested, who had heard a morning talk show or, you know, seen a spot on television or something and wanted to learn more. They were sufficiently open-minded, and by the end of the evening, I think they were
and that's
really disabused of all those stereotypes.
And that's what's really, really important. One of the things that we were talking about earlier is that there are a number of primetime television shows.
Right.
My personal favorite, Buffy. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay, so everybody can laugh at me. But Willow, her best friend, is learning on the show how to be a practicing witch.
That's right.
And of course, I'm sure that you've also heard of the show Charmed, which every once in a while they get a few things wrong, but you know, you gotta take the positive stuff that they put out. 3 absolutely gorgeous and beautiful young women, no warts, no green skin, no pointy hats, who do a beautiful job of trying to create positive magic. And they make mistakes, and they do silly things, and they try to use magic for love because they're silly and they really don't have anybody teaching them. They're kind of self-teaching themselves.
Well, that's very true of most of the community now. They're very self-taught. But you're right. The most important thing is that it keeps making it clear over and over again that witches aren't evil.
Exactly.
Well, thank you. I mean, primetime television reaching millions of people and paid for by sponsors. Fine, I'll take it. Right. That's a huge step in the right direction. And that's all you can expect is one step at a time. I mean, you know, it still clings to this idea of witches as having inherited supernatural powers, stereotype. But the most important thing of all is that they are good, that they're not evil, and that they're not Satanists. And if you can get that message across, you know, you can change everything.
Exactly, and we are working to change that. We're working through the community. One of the things about Craftwise, which Phyllis will be at Craftwise. We are very, very happy that we'll both be there.
And Bruce will be there also.
And I also understand that the hotel will allow Webster.
Webster?
Yes, Webster.
Webster will be there, and if you can't see Webster,
he's running around the set, which
Webster is adorable.
He's the Cairn Terrier familiar, disabusing people of yet another stereotype that witches only have black cats as familiars. No, they have blonde Cairn Terriers, actually.
But one of the things that we try to do with Craftwise, one of the things that we decided that we would do is to put Craftwise in a very nice 4-star hotel. They love us. They can't wait for us to come back. They're already working on our contract for the year 2000 because they think we're terrific.
Well, you are terrific.
And they love the people who come there. They love the folks who have been there. They said that all kinds of amazing, bless you, all kinds of amazing changes have happened since Craftwise was at the Danbury Hilton.
Yeah.